A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning with the house.
En baştan başlıyoruz yani evden. Okey, başlayalım bakalım. Buna yakınlaştırabiliyormuşuz.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
11 yaşımıza kadar burada yaşamışız ama evin yarısından çoğunu odasına giremiyormuşuz.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Mail kutusunda bir sürü işte acil açınız olan mektuplar
I hadn't been
varmış.
back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Abimizin cenazesine.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
Tamam, annemiz bize bir anahtar bırakmış ama neresini açtığını dair en ufak fikrimiz yok.
Maybe she
Bakalım
thought I'd know,
neresiymiş.
or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Şimdi buradan da var, buradan da var. Keşke koşma tuşu olsaydı. Sürekli elim oraya gidiyor.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints. The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it.
Asla buraya gelmeyecek.
But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Ama bizim karakterde cevaplanmamış sorularımız var ve onları bulmaya geldik. Hadi bakalım.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
Yalnız evde ev yani. Harbiden. Bu nasıl bir ev ya? Disney'lerin evine benziyor birazcık. Şimdi buradan gitsek.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
Yani bir çocuğa göre birazcık rahatsız edici bir ev olabilir diyor.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Evden korkmaktan haklısın aslında ya.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
Tabii ki de. Ben mi açamadım? Evet, ben
Looking in,
açamamışım.
I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Ev bizi bekliyor da. Bakalım biz hazır mıyız? Etrafta anahtar falan yoktur herhalde.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Evdeki her şeyimiz duruyor.
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
Bu nasıl bir ev ya? Hem hayalim, böyle her yerde kitaplar falan. Hem de bir o kadar da hayalim olmayan
But
korkunç
instead
bir
of a
ev.
family, there were just memories of one. Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Maşallah ne kadar çok kedim olması var.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Harbiden her şeyi neden geride bıraktık ki biz böyle
My
paça
mom
hocasına
wasn't much of an
gitmişiz?
optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Abimiz kayıpmış. Anne sonuçta. Tabii ki de inanmamıştır.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Evin kütüphanesi bile oturabiliyor muyuz?
After Milton
Tabii
disappeared,
evden büyük.
Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Abimizin kaybından sonra birçok şey
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
maşallah ailedeki yanlış anlamayın da herkes ya kayıp ya ölü ya bir şey olmuş.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of. The last time I was in Edith Senior's room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
10 yaşındayken bu odayı görmüşüz. Okey. Acaba bizim odamız hangisi?
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
İnanmak gerekiyormuş.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan, but I had no idea what was behind that door.
Korkunun ecele faydası yok.
Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead. I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
En küçük odalardan bir tanesi herhalde bu.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Molly Finch.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Resmen bulduğumuz her şeyi yiyecek miyiz?
My Halloween candy was all gone.
Şekerlerimiz bitmiş. Yapmayacağız değil mi? Yapmayız ya.
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
Bence de geri koymalıyız.
I kept eating and eating.
Diş macunu. Yani en azından balık yememizden daha mantıklı gibi geldi.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Yavrum onlar yapaylar ya. Ew.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
Kediye dönüştük ya. Çocuk aklı var ya. İnanılmaz bir şey.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Şuraya gideceğiz. Nereden gidebiliriz?
I jumped and I almost got her.
Biz de yakalayamadığımız için de sinirlenmişiz.
I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I saw little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits. I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Bu nasıl bir hayaldi ya? Atla, atla, hop.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper and it tasted really good. I grabbed on tight. And when I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
beklemiyorum ki. Anlamadım.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere. I was big, and I moved real quiet. I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Belly with a rust. Belly with a rust.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
Ben hala doymadım.
I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Hadi bakalım bu sefer ne yiyeceğiz? Ay korkulur ya. Tuvaletin içinden çıktık.
I got closer and closer.
Tam olarak neye yaklaştık? Ha, kendi yatağımıza.
All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Vay be. Yatağımızın altındaki canavarın kendimiz olduğuna inandığımız.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure
Vale.
Edie would have.
Hadi bakalım.
I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
Sen mi usanmışsın?
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
Edith's room'dayız.
Her room was
Biraz
like a
mı?
museum.
Büyük annemizmiş.
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johann. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Vay be.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Garip. Yani resmen ailemizin lanetli olduğuna inanıyoruz. Çünkü ailemizdeki herkes ölüyor ya da kayboluyor ya da bir şeyler oluyor. Gerçi böyle düşünmek için de çok da uzak sayılmaz aslında da.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Ya bu nasıl bir tuvalet?
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a
Çok
pretty
iyi.
big trace.
Açamıyorum. Aa.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Çok iyi yapmışlar ya.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Burası galiba bu hani eski kameraları fotoğraflarını çıkartıldıkları böyle siyah oda dediklerimiz bir oda var ya. Onlardan bir tanesi galiba.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Sam, Calvin.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin,
Bunlar ikiz.
and that he never talked about him.
Ve hiçbir şekilde ikiz hakkında
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't.
Gerçekten bir aile birkaç yıl içinde nasıl heba olunur onun hikayesi. Ama inanılmaz bir şey. Ben sallanmam gerektiğini düşünüyorum ama sallanmamam
I
gerekiyor.
think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Calvin! I'm not gonna
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind.
Yani başka bir şey yapamıyorum. Kusura bakmasın.
That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Başım döndü.
That's the day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Şimdi 3 kişinin hikayesi bitti. Galiba yani bu bitti mi? Onu da bilmiyorum bitti demek mi ama.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Çok iyi ya. Bakalım şimdi kime gidiyoruz?
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Tekrar girebiliyoruz evet. Çünkü galiba Barbara'nın... Oha o ne ya ödüm koptu.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Aa kardeşimiz şeymiş. Star. Film yıldızıymış. Bigfoot'ta falan oynamış.
I never thought
Hello.
about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
Barbara Finch.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream.
Çığlıkları
Now
mı
at
ünlenmiş kız?
16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later,
Evdeki her
Rick
şey
hadn't
gizemli.
returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Oh!
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
Kaç kişiler ya?
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear.
Oh.
Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending. I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Okay.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Evet, doğal bir şey bu sonuçta. Yine müzik kutusuna bakmaya gidiyoruz. Ve Bodrum'a ineceğiz. Çünkü manyağız da biraz. Gerçekten bu nasıl bir ev ya? Işık da açamıyorum evde.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot. I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Zaten bu aileden daha azını beklemiyorum. Ya gözünü seveyim, el feneri falan bir şey.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
Barbara öldükten sonra uzaklaşıldığı
If there's a
kadar
pattern in all
uzağa
these
gittiğini
stories,
söylemiş annesi.
I
Ama
think it's that
görünüşe
none of
göre de
us has gotten
yakınmış.
very far.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane.
Hala evet.
Having a schedule, living for today.
Ne?
I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
Nokta mıyız? Neyiz ya?
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped.
Bu sefer
Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
o her neyse diyor, bir gün ortadan kayboluyor. Ya da ben korkmayı mı bıraktım, öyle bir şey söyledi ama orayı tam anlamadım.
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
Haydi. Ev kitaptan geçilmiyor ve çok hoş ya. Ama annem bu evi görse kesin aksiyetesi tutar. Bu
I know it's
kitaplar
out there
temizlenecek
somewhere.
diye.
Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one mere day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Oh. Ben mutlu olacağız derken trenle tokuştuk galiba. Walter da gitti.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
5 kişiyi götürdük. Hadi bakalım.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me. Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive.
Artık buradan tren geçmiyordur herhalde ya.
Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real. I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
Denize giremiyoruzdur diye düşünüyorum. Aynen. Yine de bir denedim.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
Bizim
I think
kaybolduğumuz
the
kadar o da
people in these
kayboldu.
stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Buradan çıkabiliyor muyuz? Düşmeyiz inşallah. Şöyle bir manzara gösterdim. Manzara severiz.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Önümü çok az görüyorum.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
Yani evet, bu biraz garip olmuş.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault. Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Her biri için farklı bir anıt çeşidi yapılmış.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
Hadi biz de bakalım. Nasıl odaklıyorum?
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
Hikaye aşırı güzel.
But looking back on it now,
Sadece ne kadar doğru.
if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Burası çıkıyor hocam.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
Gerçekten çok değişik bir ailemiz var.
They were both pretty intense.
Merhaba. Haydi bakalım. Yeni bir hikaye. Başlayamadık.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
What? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a honey. Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Peki tam olarak nereye çekmem gerekiyor acaba? Malzemeyi mi?
Aw.
Başka nereye çekebilirim ki?
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hold still while I take a picture.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa, Don, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph? We found an old logging trail. with deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time. Give me a minute to check the map. You don't need to waste any more film on me, kiddo. Let's see. Maybe.
Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target.
Tarık nerede ki?
Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Dawn! I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay? Sorry, Dawn, just gotta reset the timer.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so...
normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Sen bunu hak ettin. Şimdi kusura bakmayacak kimse ama. Hayda. Bu da böyle öldü.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me. Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Bunda da değişik bir şeyler aradım ama herhalde yok gibi. Tekrar ağaca mı çıkıyoruz? Yok. Demek ki içeride bir şey var. Gözden kaçırdım. Bakalım. Evet.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Ana. Ay bebeğin de öldüğünü söyleme şimdi. Divorce. Oo, boşanma. Ya. Şu kontrole bir türlü alışamadım.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
Hold on, sweetie.
Everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
Ha.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw. There's so much I don't understand about Gregory. about everything.
Çocuk kafası.
But I know what happened wasn't your fault.
Şunu çekmemiz lazım. Haydi.
I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Hayda. Şimdi Eddie kaldı. Dawn, Milton, Lewis. 4 tane. Hadi bakalım.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
now
remember.
pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. Rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Biri daha gitti. Yani bunu böyle bakmak istemezdim ama harbiden artık böyle bakıyorum bu oyunda.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
Nedense bugün işte ben de buradan bir yerden
At the time, it was as far away as
düşecekmişim
she
gibi.
could get.
Gerçekten aileler
She
deli
spent
bir
a summer
şey
building
inanmam
houses in
ama.
Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Sanjay.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
Galiba Eylül'deyiz.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
No, Milton'mış.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Peki bu içeri nasıl gireceğiz? Tam olarak böyle. Ya bu nasıl bir evdir ya?
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Her zaman şunlardan yapmak istemişimdir. Vay. Gizli bir kapı bulacağız sanırım.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared. Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Kusura bakmayın. Her tarafta herhangi bir hikaye olabilir diye her tarafı gezerek gitmeye çalışıyorum da. Bazen de çıkmaz sokağa denk gelebiliyoruz tabii. Buradan da gidemiyoruz. Benden yukarı çıkacağız. Gibi hissetmiştim. Galiba yine ben görmüyorum bir şeyleri.
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
Tamam da buradan sonra bir yere gidiyor muyuz acaba? geldik zaten. Geri döneceğiz. Valla görmüyor da olabilirim. Her şey mümkün. Yani umarım görüyorumdur. Sen yukarı niye çıkmamıza izin ver?
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Bakalım.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Louis's room.
Oo, çok renkli.
Except Louis.
Çok iyiymiş. Çok hoşuma gitti. Geçelim bakalım. Çocuk gemide yaşıyor ya. Gemi mi bu? Ne bu?
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived
Demedim
on.
ama ya. Dışarı bakmam mı çıkmaz biri oldu.
Louis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Louis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Louis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Louis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Louis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Louis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor, and he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a
hem de bu işlemi yapmak. Aa.
handsome queen.
Handsome queen ne demek lan? Değil yaptı oyun. Balığı da kesmem
The queen was on her own quest for radiant rainbows.
Keşke cümleyi tamamıyla okusaymışım.
He followed the sound of her
harp. Tabii ki de harp.
Silver harp.
Ya bu nasıl öldü ya? Kesin kafasına bir yere.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
Hayda. Bir balık kesmeyi bitiremedik.
He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
İnanılmaz ya. Ya bu oyunu yapanlar ne kafası yaşadı acaba?
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Oh be, balık kesmiyoruz. Diyeceksiniz ki tek derdim
Began to
balık
forget the
kesmek.
world we know.
Evet.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Artık kendimizden geçmişiz o babadan.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Gerçekten ne kafası yaşıyoruz biz.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him. His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head.
Ay harbiden öyle oldu. Kafamız gidiyor. Dikkatli olalım.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
GG. Goodbye.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Son 2 kişi. Hadi bakalım. Şimdi buradan gidebileceğimiz bir yer. Şurayı deneyeceğim.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
Evet. Ulan Edith ben değil miyim?
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Vay. Şimdi de yazma sırası bizde.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance, or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight.
Hiçbir şey anlamadım.
We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out.
Şimdi bizim doğduğumuz gündeyiz. Hadi bakalım, bugün de ne olmuş?
It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life.
Sonunda eve gidiyoruz, şu yıkılmış eve.
But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things.
Gitgide garip şeyler görmeye başladık. Hadi hayırlısı.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by.
Anne de vefat etmiş galiba.
My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was
Kız
alone.
resmen aynen yalnız kalmış. Kıyamam lan.
The last Finch left alive.
Ve biz de bunca şeyden sonra o eve geri döndük.
Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes and appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Hayda.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Biz de gittik. Resmen ailede kimse bırakmadık ya. Bu oyunumuz da böyleydi. Benimle birlikte oyunu izlediğiniz için ve oynadığınız için hepinize teşekkür ederim. Kanalıma abone olmayı, hatta bildirim çanını açmayı ve yorumlarda benimle birlikte etkileşimde bulunursanız çok sevinirim. Hepinize iyi günler dilerim.